Oh, let's go ahead and kick off with the daily recap here. Welcome to the daily recap. My name is BreakyCPK. This is January 27th, 2017, of course. And here is the daily recap. We'll start with the European qualifiers for the Starladder iLeague Star Series. This event continuing on into today, of course, January 27th. Let me refresh this because I want to say... Okay, well, I want to say this series is actually wrapped up now. I don't know how it finished, but... Yesterday's series, we had a 2-0 in favor of Cloud9. Then Liquid and Vega actually split their series, maybe to the surprise of a lot of people. But Vega Squadron making a great series there. You know, after especially going 0-2 against Cloud9, and Team Liquid a very good team. They got to feel good about that one. Then Liquid and Adphenum, they actually split their series as well. I was actually watching that second game, especially. It was a hell of a game. Adphenum pulling through in the end to actually split the series. Team Liquid, frankly, dominated them in the first game, so Adphenum kind of changed things up, though. They picked Necro themselves. Necro was kind of a theme yesterday. In fact, Liquid against Vega, their second game, which they won, they picked Necro. The first game against Adphenum, they also picked Necro, and then Necro picked by Adphenum against Liquid. So in these two series alone, he actually went 3-0 with a couple of different teams even. So Necro maybe finally starting to get some attention on the competitive scene. I know for a while here he's been talked about as like a pub stomp hero, but the teams haven't necessarily been running him a whole lot. So I kind of wonder if this is going to start a trend or not. We'll see as time moves on right here. But it looks like the matches for today, they have kicked off. And of course, Cloud9, they match up against Adphenum themselves. And Cloud9 actually took the first game, and again, I thought the second game even just finished here very recently, but I do not have the results. And anyways, the point is, they're going to be playing that, so we'll see if Adphenum can yet again split a series, or if Cloud9 can continue momentum. Overall, they're looking pretty strong. They split a couple of series prior to this. They actually lost 0-2 to Liquid, but then they went 2-0 against Vega yesterday, of course. So they're kind of, bouncing up and down, it seems like. Vega versus Horde is the middle match here, and then Secret makes their qualifier debut here against Team Liquid in the last match day. That's a good match, man. That's another one of those, damn it, I just may have to watch it matches while hanging out with you guys in chat. So we'll see. Okay, apparently Cloud9 won, I'm being told. So I guess Cloud9 up 2-0. Or won the series 2-0 over Adphenum. So Adphenum, not the strongest start. Again, these are two very good teams, obviously, but welcome to the European qualifiers, right? I mean, you're really going to be matched up against pretty damn good teams no matter what the matchup is. So Adphenum, we'll see how they continue momentum, or if they can post Boston Major here, this being their first event since the Boston Major. So that's going to be fun to keep an eye on. And of course, it goes into the weekend here. Being that I don't do daily recaps on the week, we'll just take a glance here. Some bigger matchups. Na'Vi is going to make their debut on Saturday, it looks like, against Liquid. So again, a strong start there. Look at this on Sunday. Alliance has a very busy day. They play all three series against Secret, Vega Squadron, and Na'Vi. So Sunday, even Saturday, they play against Liquid in the final match. So the weekend's going to be pretty busy for Alliance. 4 pretty damn big matches to determine how they're going to do in these qualifiers. Again, the top 2 advance on out of these 8 teams here in these European qualifiers. Let's bounce over to the American qualifiers now. Excuse me. Another day in the books here. Yesterday was a little bit interesting. So, first off, I didn't cast yesterday. Kato Guy actually casting for the Starladder iLeague Star Series qualifiers here for the American region. So, fun listening to him over there. You see that first match right there. So, there was a little bit of drama. Apparently, Dialcom, they're having some roster issues. Now, initially, so they were supposed to play DC in the first match of the day. Things were getting delayed. And it got to a point where the admins decided, you know what, Dalcom, for whatever reason, I guess there was some discussion going on that they actually were trying to really swap up their roster. Initially, it was suggested that they were trying to only keep 2 players and try to get 3 new players on the roster, which according to the rules, you're not allowed to do that. And the admins it sounded like they were just getting fed up. I'm actually in a Skype channel with all the admins and stuff, obviously, for the casting that I'm doing with them. And it got to a point where they just said, you know what, Dalcom, you're done. You're forfeiting all your matches. We're not going to deal with this. Which I get, when a team's really trying to dramatically change their roster and trying to abuse the rules or trying to get, work around the rules for their own advantages, it sucks because it shouldn't be happening. Again, I understand, especially in the esports community, teams go through these phases that with the rosters that they figure out, they realize, okay, well, this just isn't working. We want to change our players, but as an event organization, you have a tournament to run. You know, you have your own event to run. You can't be worrying about these drama issues amongst these teams as far as the inner workings. When you go into an event, especially a big one like this, being a qualifier for a pretty damn big LAN in the Starladder LAN, make sure your roster is set, guys. I mean, because it really is unfortunate, because Dalcom essentially was taking away a spot from another team that maybe would have wanted to participate in this event with the same 5-man roster and actually got, if anything, some good experience out of it. So it's really unfortunate that this had to happen. Now, things kind of backtracked a little bit later on. Now, the forfeit was already granted to DC because of, obviously, you know, they had to move on. However, later on in the day, it was then announced that Dalcom is apparently now still going to play in the event in their future matches, as they are actually going to keep 3 players. So I guess they kind of work things out where they're going to keep a 3rd player, and they're just going to be swapping out 2 of their players, which I guess, according to the Starladder rules, you are able to do. It just can't be more than 2, apparently. So they're going to do that, and they will continue on with the tournament. That is the last that I heard as far as the official announcements go, as of early this morning, in fact. So, as far as all these forfeit victories here on this, that does not stand anymore. Now, I don't know what the DC match is going to do. I don't know how that's going to play out for them versus Digital Chaos, if that's going to be scheduled, or if they're still just going to give DC a 2-0 victory. Let's be honest, that's probably what would have happened, but, you know, you could argue that maybe they should still have to play it in the end, just simply for the integrity of the tournament, as especially if every other team has to play against them. But, you know, it's not DC's fault either that they didn't show up. They were going through these issues, whatever. Point is, it sounds like now they're back in, so we'll see how that goes. They are set to play later tonight against Doo-Wop. We'll see if that actually happens and if any more drama seems to arise. As far as yesterday's matches, DC then went on to defeat Doo-Wop 2-0. So Doo-Wop is apparently having a lot of momentum lately, but again, DC just clearly the better team. And it was very quick victories. In fact, the 2 series that were played, you see Complexity actually took out Infamous. I think the casters were suggesting that it took like 2 hours for 4 games to be played, which is absolutely absurd for Dota 2. That is insanely fast Dota 2 right there. 2 hours for 4 games in total to be played. So, not the most casting to be had, but hey, you know, DC and Complexity really making statements in their matches there. So, DC and Complexity both sitting atop of the group standings after the results of the 3rd day right here. Again, only one team ultimately advances on to the main event, so still a lot of matches to be played. A lot of information to still get from it. Then tonight, we got NP versus Freedom. Should be a fun one to kick off there. Infamous versus Onyx. And then Doo-Wop versus Dalcom, like we're talking about. We'll see. Now, again, to reiterate this, I know I was mentioning that I would be casting tonight. Now, I had my dates mixed up. So it turns out that I'm actually casting the 28th, 29th, and the 30th. So Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I'm not casting tonight. Coddle Guy, I believe, is going to be casting again tonight. Which, again, looking forward to listening in on to that. But so just to clarify that, as I know I was mentioning that before, but I had my dates mixed up. That was completely my fault. So then the weekend, obviously a lot of Complexity action, should be fun. Again, Saturday's going to be interesting because Dalcom's set to play 2 different series. I hope they show up. I hope they get played, because just for the sake of the entertainment value and the casting and everything, you just hope that it happens, because that's like the worst thing ever, when a team just flat out forfeits, especially the rest of the event. I mean, it just sucks. I mean, it sucks for all parties, for the spectators, for the organizer, for the team that they maybe took a spot from. I mean, just all across the board it sucks. So hopefully they show up, and then Sunday's going to be a fun day as well, you see there. So anyways, that's the American qualifiers and how things have progressed. As outside of the Starladder iLeague Star Series, though, there isn't a whole lot else going on right now, and there's really not much news. So that's pretty much what's going on, but still a lot. Now, there is some other news that I guess I can talk about real quickly here, of course, in case for some reason, if you haven't heard, the Battle Pass was officially announced for the winter, coming out for the Kiev Major, and then the Dark Moon event. This is a new event that just came out. I'm actually going to be trying it later on today. I've seen some streamers play it, though. It looks like a lot of fun. It's kind of like a mini raid, a mini instance of sorts. It's kind of like a tower defense or, a hero wave defense, whatever you want to call it, kind of a custom game mode that they put into the game. That's, you defeat the game and you ultimately get points throughout the planet, and then you can accumulate prizes as a result. So it's a pretty fun new feature that they put into the game. It's always fun when they have just free stuff like this that they put in and to enjoy, and I'm looking forward to checking it out myself. And of course the Battle Pass coming out as well. Plenty coming from that, including all the skins and everything, so which I will be getting myself later on today. Alright, so that's going to do it for the daily recap, though, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed and got some good information out of this, if anything. Again, I try to do a daily recap every day I stream, which ideally is Monday through Friday on the weekdays. Daily recap, though, usually Tuesday through Friday, because Mondays I actually do a podcast, which I recap the last whole week and everything, so it doesn't really make a lot of sense to do on Mondays. Anyways, the point is, throughout the week, I do daily recaps, at least 4, if not 5, and not only do I do them on Twitch stream, but then of course, I upload them to my YouTube, so check it out, guys. Again, it's BreakyCPK. Check me out on all the social media platforms, and hopefully you enjoyed the daily recap. Until next time, guys. Until next time, guys. All right.